Welcome back to Hard Smart Together. I'm Coach Dave. I'm here to help high school basketball players become the smart, confident players that coaches love. Okay, and today we're talking about coaches at the next level loving you. If you're a high school basketball player and you've been thinking, man, I'd really like to play at the next level, I'd like to play in college, then today is your day to listen in, because I'm going to cover 3 things that you should be doing in order to improve your chances of playing college basketball. Now, what might surprise you about these 3 things I'm going to talk about today is none of them has to do with what you're doing on the court. But these are 3 just as important as what you're doing on the court, 3 things that will improve your chances, okay? If you haven't already downloaded the 8 intangible skills that coaches love to see at players, I make it a free gift available for you just for listening in. These are skills that you can display both on and off the court that both high school coaches want to see, but also college coaches want to see in players. So I make it a checklist form. I'll put a link in the description below. If you haven't already downloaded that, go and download that as my free gift to you today. So what are these 3 things that you can do that will improve your chances of playing basketball in college? Well, number 1, you may have heard from your parents, from your teachers, and even your coaches. But number 1 is, in order to play college basketball, you have to get in to the school that you want to play at. Okay? Coaches, college coaches, do not decide who is admitted to the college. That is the admissions people that decide who is admitted to the college. So you have to focus, as much as you're focusing on improving your game, your AAU summer that you're playing on, working out and building your, credentials on the court, you have to build them off the court. You have to focus on your academics first and foremost. You have to make sure that you're taking the right courses that get the attention and get you admitted to the colleges that you want to apply to and you might want to play for. Okay? By focusing on your academics, by focusing on your off the court work that you've got to put in, it's part of playing at the next level. And the more colleges you can get into, the wider your world of opportunities open up for you to play college basketball. Because if you can get in to more and more schools, well, then you can find the place for you to play. So number 1 is you've got to get in. You've got to focus on that. As much as you're focusing on your jump shot, as much as you're focusing on your ball handling, as much as you're focusing on getting out there and being seen by coaches, you got to get into as many schools as you possibly can. Expand your opportunities. Now, the second thing that you should be doing, and this kind of, fits right with that, is you should be building what I like to call your ideal college profile. And this is specific to you. This is, it's got a lot of different factors that go into building an ideal college profile, from lifestyle factors to academic factors to affordability. But for you, the student athlete, you got to decide, where is my best fit at playing basketball in college? What experience do I want, right? And that does not necessarily mean playing at the highest level, because your experience at the highest level for you personally might be great, or it might suck, right? You may never get off the bench. You might just be kind of a practice player. You got to travel all the time. It becomes kind of a job. Maybe you want to look at, I want to get a lot of playing time. I don't care that I'm playing at the very highest level that I can play at. So maybe I want to play at a different level. Maybe I don't want to travel all over the country to play basketball. Maybe I want to stay more in a localized conference, a regional conference, those types of things. So you've got to look at all these factors as you're building your ideal college profile. But you should be looking at that now and really expanding your knowledge of what's out there. We talked about levels. You've got Everybody that I talk to, a lot of high school players, they all want to go to the ESPN schools. I call them ESPN schools because they're all you see on Saturday and Sunday mornings when you're watching football, when you're watching basketball, when you're watching major sports. They're all the big ESPN schools. And if you're lucky enough to play at one of those schools, if you're getting recruited at that level, great. I think it's awesome. But for most college basketball players, you might want to start looking at, you've got Division I, kind of the majors. You've got mid-majors, which are typically smaller schools and smaller conferences. You've got Division II schools. You've got Division III schools. You've got NAIA schools. You've even got community colleges that you might utilize if you need time to, improve your game, if you need time to improve your academics, if it's an affordability aspect. So you've got all these options, but don't just focus on the ESPN schools or the handful of schools that you know out there. Start looking at, what do I want out of my college experience? What do I want out of my athletic experience? What do I want from a academic career experience, right? And then you can start kind of building this profile and looking at your range of options, because you might find that you're a fit athletically and socially and everything else at a Division III school or an NAIA school, right? You might find that your fit, your ideal college for you, is different from those ESPN schools that everybody top of their head can kind of rattle off. Oh, Duke, North Carolina, Florida, right? If you're getting recruited at those schools, you're a top player. So each level is going to affect all those different aspects of, your social life, your athletic life, where you're going to school, the size of the school. There's so many factors. When I work with student athletes, we kind of go through a litany of different factors that kind of fit in those areas. But my advice to you is get started. Get started kind of thinking about, what's my ideal college profile? So that if you're doing the work on the academic side, you can, look at getting into those schools and how they might fit for you. And then the third thing that you can do to improve your chances is, unless you're that top, 1 or 2% of athletes that's getting highly recruited and you're inundated with coaches coming to your games to watch you and reaching out, and you're getting the recruiting letters and you're getting, contacts from coaches, odds are the majority of student athletes that play in college need to take control of their own recruiting process. So that's the third thing you can do, is take control of your own recruiting process. It kind of dovetails with identifying what's your ideal college fit for yourself, right? Because then you start building kind of a list of the types of schools and maybe some specific schools, and you can say, oh, you know what? My game might fit here, and this is the experience I want. And you can think of taking control of your recruiting process as your first sales and marketing job, because that's what you're doing. You're marketing yourself to coaches. So many student athletes think coaches are somehow going to find you, that they know about you. Unless you are one of the elite athletes out there, coaches don't know about you. And you've got to open up your world of opportunities and start letting coaches know about what you can bring to their program, to their campus, to their community, right? You've got to start opening up those lines of communication. I work with a lot of student athletes on kind of going through that entire process. But these are 3 things that you can do to improve your chances of playing in college. And you notice we didn't talk about what you're doing on the court. Now, you still have to improve your game. You still have to, be good, right? Be good enough to play at a certain level that you want to play at. But these 3 things, you got to get into school. You got to get into the school you want to play at. You've got to start building kind of your ideal college profile so that you can start expanding your idea of what is possible and where you might want to play. And then you've got to take that knowledge and start taking control of your own recruiting process and letting coaches know what you can bring to them so that you can get recruited, attend that school, and have a wonderful college experience. So these are 3 things I hope were helpful. If they were, give me a like, give me a comment, and until next time, I want you to remember to play hard, play smart, and play together. See you next time.